So hi everyone, welcome, and I hope you're going to enjoy the discussion today. I'm Tom van der Hoven, International Development Consultant for IIMC. I have Hans Rijs with me today, and we'll be talking about hybrid meetings and the challenges that poses to clerks and democratic officers. Welcome, Hans, and thanks for agreeing to share your views with us today. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, Tom, can you hear and see me clearly now?
Yes, thank you. That's perfect. Thank you.
Great, because this being a hybrid interview, I thought it might be a nice thing to do to do it really hybrid. So I'm doing it from my council chamber. I'm just adjusting the cameras a little bit. So if it's all look okay, then just give me a shout and.
You look lovely, Hans. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you, Tom. My name is Hans Rijs. I'm clerk in the municipality of Bodegraven-Reewijk in the Netherlands, and I'm also a board member for the Dutch Clerks Organization VVG, and I'm Region 11 Director for the IMC.
Great, Hans, thanks. What's the size of the population in Bodegraven, and how many council members do you have?
We are a city of 35,000 inhabitants, and our council is at the moment 23, but because we have reached the 35,000 level, after next year's elections, the council will be extended to 25, Tom.
Okay. Just tell me, in the context of the Netherlands, would this be a medium-sized town, just to get a feel for it?
Yeah, it's medium. I believe the average size is about 35, 40,000 people. So we have smaller cities and we have bigger cities. Yeah, we're just in the middle, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good, just to get a feel for it. We know that councils have been hosting virtual meetings during the pandemic, but I can imagine as we come out of lockdown that they will want to meet face-to-face again, members, I presume. But then again, there have been advantages for some members, not having to travel, more flexibility. What's been the experience at Bodegraven?
Yeah, you know, Tom, I don't think we're that unique. I think all over the world, people are dying to see each other again. You know, they really wanted to meet again. So also in my city council, people wanted to want as soon as possible to have face-to-face meetings again. But we've also discovered the advantages of digital meetings. So we already discussed within the city council that for some meetings we might consider keep on hosting digital meetings, and for some meetings also trying to work with hybrid solutions, so that some of the members are working from home and others are here in the council chambers. You know, I think especially when some of the council members have had the jab and others haven't, some might be a little bit scary to come into City Hall, so we can offer them the hybrid solution. So
yeah, no, that's
I
very.
I definitely think it's here to stay, Tom.
Yeah, it's interesting, the discussions I've been having with people, that not everybody thinks of a hybrid meeting in the same way. They have different views of what constitutes a hybrid meeting. So in your view, what is a hybrid meeting? Is it just one member and one officer together and the rest all on Zoom, or is it people having a choice?
Well, it's all a matter of definition. If you have an all Zoom meeting, it's not hybrid. But as soon as one participant is in the council chamber and the others are within Zoom, you're already using hybrid techniques. And and you can have a hybrid meeting with 20 people in council chambers and the rest via Zoom or Teams, or the other way around. It's I think it depends on the stages of the pandemic we'll be in. People feeling comfortable being a city hall, yes or no, or and in the very future, the kind of meetings, For example, a few years ago, we had to organize an extra council meeting, which was officially within the holidays. Some councillors already left. Yeah, then you can offer them to participate hybrid, so they can still fully work as a councillor.
That's very true. That's very true. Your current legislation, and I think you've told me before that the VVG is busy working with government. Will it allow you to hold hybrid meetings after the pandemic?
You know, I've been working with some colleagues over the last 4 years already before the pandemic was to think about hybrid meetings. And just the example I gave you was one of the reasons we started working on that. So discussions have been going on for some longer time already in the Netherlands. And well, the Ministry for Local Affairs now has said, well, we are going to explore if hybrid meetings in the future should be permanent in the law. They have a positive feeling about it, and they've asked me on behalf of VVG to join the group that will discuss the technical specifications you're going to require for a good hybrid meeting. You know, you have different kind of techniques, and some work better than the other. And yeah, it's a goal to facilitate it as best as possible, so that there's a level playing field for all the participants.
Yeah. No, I agree. Interesting that in the UK there's also the issue about legislation, and they're having discussions as well. Whereas I think in America it is perhaps slightly different. But yeah, let's hope governments allow this to continue, because as you said, this is something for the future. It's not going to go away.
Yeah, you know, and even for our international meetings, it's a perfect solution. You know, a few years ago we only saw each other at real conferences, and since the pandemic, I think we've met more than we ever done before.
Absolutely. And when I've been having these Zoom discussions and the workshops, the comments I always get is how nice to actually see people and speak to people from different countries, because people just never had that opportunity unless, as you say, they went to a conference. So yeah, no, it's been great. Hans, tell me, I assume you have spoken to your members as to what they want to do in future.
Sorry, say that again?
I assume that you have had discussions with your members about coming out of the lockdown and what would they like to see happen in the future.
Yeah, of course, we do that constantly. You know, I believe already after the second or the third digital meeting, some of the councillors said, well, we want to do this in the future. I don't have to travel as long, and you know, just for a short meeting or a short catch up, it's ideal to do so. You know, I now have councillors who have full-time jobs, but they can participate in committees that are gathering during the day. So it's not just the pensioners that are well doing their council work during the day, but also the people with full-time jobs. Yeah. So I really believe it improves the quality of the council as well, using these techniques.
Yeah, oh, that's true. That's true. I've had the opportunity to visit you and to see your setup in Bodegraven. I must say I was very impressed with what you've done there. Tell us a bit about what arrangements you have in place. How does it work? How did you set it up? That would be really interesting for people to hear.
Well, it's all basic technique, by the way. We use in this committee room we use 5 cameras. We have a very old traditional microphone system, and it's all well attached through a smart software program we were already using. You know, we're broadcasting with Arbor Media. We are using MVI audio visual for controlling the microphones and the cameras, and we already could do that. And when we had to organize digital meetings, we only had to buy a small device was less than 500 euros to attach one computer to the system, and we were all good to go. You know, and almost every council in the Netherlands has the basic technique already, so it was quite easy to get everybody on hybrid meetings. You require some cameras and some microphones and an internet connection, and that's basically it.
Yeah, that's interesting. On webcasting, do you webcast your meetings as well?
Yeah, we do. We do live broadcast, and it's all possible to watch it on demand as well. So if you just go to the website of my municipality, you can watch all the streams that are recorded, and we can use it for for council meetings, but we also use it for well, other meetings. So yeah.
And if I don't know what your legislation requires of you, but if your webcasting failed during a meeting,
yeah,
what would happen then? Would you have to stop the meeting?
Well, luckily our webcast didn't fail over the last year, so that's very positive. But the law requires that when you have a hybrid or you have a digital meeting, it should be broadcasted. So in the unlucky event that the technique fails, we have to stop the meeting and do it another time.
Right. Okay.
And I know of some colleagues who had that had some failures with the system. So it has happened in the beginning of the pandemic, but I believe everybody has got that technique well organized. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think you referred to costs, that you already had systems in place. I can imagine that smaller councils, perhaps here in the UK, may not have had this equipment, and they would find it difficult to set up for a hybrid meeting if they require all of this cameras and screens and whatever. Or do you think it can be done in a less sophisticated way than what you've done it?
Yeah, you can do it less sophisticated, but you know, this is also a very cost-efficient solution. Yeah, if a council, for example, in the UK doesn't have cameras, yeah, you have to buy some cameras, but you can go for the expensive ones. You can buy 10, or you can buy 2. You know, you can start at a low level as well. But I know there are some software developers coming, and that they can organize hybrid meetings through laptops. So then you can use the camera and the microphone system for the laptop as well. So I believe you know, the whole world was demanding these kind of solutions. So there are a lot of companies developing it. And I've recently saw a demo of one of the parties I'm working with, and I was really enthusiastic. And we're thinking about implementing it already before the summer, because that system has a voting system and a camera control, microphone control system in one. So if you are looking at your screen during a meeting, and the clerk starts a digital voting, just a yes and no button will pop up on the same screen, so people can vote whilst being in that online meeting. And the information gathered from that voting is transferred automatically to the council information system as well. So it saves well, the clerk's office a lot of work. You don't have to cast the votes. The system does it for you, also in the hybrid variant.
Very interesting. I think a lot of people will be interested in that.
Well, you know, Tom, you can if people come to you after this interview and they want to have some more information, please feel free to share my email address with them, and I will more than happy to help them.
Thanks, Hans. Yes, I will do that. That's a good idea. When we publish the recordings, I'll publish your contact details as well, and then they can contact you.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so it sounds like a fairly complex setup. When you run the meetings, are you the only one that that's involved in administering it, or do you have extra staff to help you with that?
Well, I do it all by myself, Tom. It may sound complicated, but it isn't. You know, it's a lot of technique. So if you don't know what to do, and you're thrown into this council chamber, you might get lost. But together with the companies I work on, we've programmed some automation in it. So if my deputy has to do this meeting, she only has to push the start meeting and the stop meeting button, and the rest will be automized. So and I can even control all the equipment in this chamber from home. You know, we are using the broadcast equipment, which is here in the council chamber, but I can operate that remotely from home. So when I have to quarantine, I can still operate this room, but anybody can. And as I said, through automation, we have simplified the work on it. So it's easy to do.
Well, interesting. I'm sure we'll have a few people contact you to find out how you do it. Did you have to put in place protocols around rules of debate, how people should behave in meetings? I've heard quite a few stories about things that have gone wrong with members, perhaps having a drink whilst they're in the meeting, or somebody walking through a room and not properly clothed. Did you have to put anything in place to tell people how to behave in this situation?
No, we didn't have any protocols. You know, Tom, we were the first city council in the Netherlands that had a digital meeting. So the whole world, the whole of the Netherlands were looking at us on that first meeting. So councillors already knew that they were being watched, so they were aware to dress properly. And you know, in the first 3 weeks, we already had 4 digital meetings, and they really adapted very good. You know, it happened sometimes that somebody didn't have a proper background or wasn't aware of the background, you know, and then just me or a colleague, we would call or text that person, and they would adjust it. But being in digital meetings now for more than a year, people are
they're used to it now.
Yeah, they're used to it. Yeah, correct.
Okay. Members of the public, Hans, if they want to speak in this situation, do they log into the same system as you, or how does that work?
Yeah, they log into the same system. They will. We use Microsoft Teams for all our meetings, so they'll receive their own link and can participate as as any council member, and that works. You know, and in the unlikely event that somebody misbehaves, and that had never happened, so I'm not afraid that it will happen as well. But if it should happen, you can remove some external guest from the meeting as well. So
so the people,
I'm not afraid of it, but if it will happen, you can control it.
Yeah. The people that log into the system, Hans, will they be the people that want to speak, and everybody else that just wants to watch the meeting watches the webcast of it?
Yeah, that's correct. So
is that how it works?
Everybody who's participating, so has to speak during a meeting, gets this link from Microsoft Teams, and yeah, the rest of the world can watch the webcast.
Yeah. Okay. We've spoken about the voting. Does it take you a long time to set up your meeting, or does your meeting stay set up like that? I suppose in your case, it's a permanent council chamber, so your equipment all stays set up.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Well, we have 2 meeting rooms. When you visit me last year, our second room wasn't ready, but it is now, and that's a room with multiple purposes. But we have equipped that with some sophisticated microphones who are in at the ceiling, and so we we don't. The only thing we have to do is put up some tables and some chairs for the meeting, and we use the microphones that are in the ceiling, and they also work together with the cameras. I had a meeting with Microsoft last week, and we are experimenting with camera control via voice and facial recognition. So it so you don't have to be a TV operator to run a meeting. So I think there's still lots of nice developments to follow, Tom, within the next 2-3 years.
I can imagine, you know, as you said, this is not something going away, and people will suddenly find this might be useful, that might be useful. And if you've got companies that are prepared to listen to what you people as practitioners say, we'll see some interesting developments coming forward.
Yeah, you know, we've been experimenting with digital technique for more than 10 years now, and this city council really wants to be at the front line of the possibilities, and I'm more than happy to help them with it. Yeah.
Oh, great. Can members of the public phone in, or your own members, can they join by telephone, or is it only through Teams that they can join?
Well, the law requires that you are visible, so sound only is not an option.
Interesting.
You know, we can do it. You know, technically, I can let them participate via phone, but we don't, because it's the law requires camera as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's different in other areas of the world where some people do allow people just to join by telephone. So, Hans, your members, what I often hear is people will say, well, I've got 1 or 2 members that are not technically very competent, and they have to do a lot of training to get them to use the technology. Did you have any problems with that? Did you have to do a training of members, or not really necessary?
Well, training isn't what I should call it. I helped like 4 to 5 counselors in the beginning with the technique. Not everybody feels comfortable using an iPad or a laptop. And, you know, it's they usually used their iPad only for reading their council papers, and now they had to use it for the video meeting as well. So that required some new skills, but only 3 or 4 were struggling with it. And you know, we give them a house visit, and we give them a little bit of exercise, and it works now.
That works.
I have a full city council that can use the voting technique and the meeting.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I've nearly run out of questions, Hans. Is there anything else you'd like to say about hybrid meetings, or advice perhaps you can give people if they're trying to set up? Because not everybody has been set up. They might do virtual meetings, but not quite prepared yet for hybrid meetings.
Yeah, but as I said at the beginning, I think hybrid meetings will be the future, and you know, there will a lot of colleagues will try to experiment with it, so as we do here in Bodegraven. And you know, let's use our international IMC network to benefit from the knowledge we have. Now we have some good solutions here, but I've spoken to colleagues in Canada just earlier this week. They do some nice things. I had a discussion with John Austin from ETSO recently. They're working on some good ideas, you know, and together with that knowledge, we can make big steps forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I thoroughly agree with you, and that's why having these discussions brings us closer together, and you can always learn from somebody else. Even if you learn how not to do something, there's always the opportunity to learn. Yeah, well, I think that brings us to the end of the discussion, Hans. Thank you very much for sharing your views with us today, and I'm sure people will enjoy listening to you. And if they have questions, I'll publish your contact details and they can get in touch with you. So thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome, Tom. And well, thanks for the opportunity to share what we have been doing here, because yeah, we're kind of proud that we we can offer this kind of services to our council members.
No, thank you, Hans. To anybody out there watching, if you have any views or comments on today's discussion, then please email me at imeet@iimc.com. I repeat, imeet@iimc.com. And if you have questions for Hans, we'll publish his contact details as well together with this recording. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye and stay safe.